The AN-94, or translated to the AN-94, oh god, I totally botched that pronunciation, and the 94 actually comes from the year it was designed, the model of 1994. It was originally designed by Gennady Nikonov, but you don't care about any of that real life stuff, you just want to care about the gun and how it works. In Phantom Forces, that is. The AK-12 is a primary weapon in the assault rifle category. It is unlocked at player level 10, however, players at level 0 can unlock it for 2100 credits. Guns do get progressively cheaper as you level up, however, and get closer to their level threshold, so it could be cheaper when you're like level 9. Without any ammunition or other modifying traits, it has a maximum damage of 30 and a minimum damage of 23. The damage drop-off happens at around 50 studs, so 14 real-life meters. So it will take around 4 shots to kill someone at 50 studs, and around 5 to kill someone beyond that till 120 studs. Similarly to most assault rifles and the last assault rifle we covered, it lacks a torso in the multi, but does have a head multiplier of 1.40, which boosts up its damage to 42 maximum and 32.2 minimum. Now that makes it a 3-shot from 50 studs and shorter, and a 4-shot beyond that to 120 studs. It has a base accuracy of 31, base hit accuracy of 57, and an aim accuracy of 30. Again, these stats are pretty much useless, and more so a gauge to show you how much recoil a gun might have in each one of those stats. The chamber is the 5.45 by 39mm ammunition type, and has a base magazine of 30 with one other chamber, bringing it up to 31. Also has a reserve of 120, giving it around 4 extra magazines. It shares the same ammunition type with the AK-12, which makes researching this video a lot more easier. You can pick up ammo from the AK-12, the AK-74, the Type 88, the RPK-12, the AK-12BR, the RPK-74, the X-95R, the AK-105, the AKU-12, and the AKS-74U. When we get to the fire rates, this is when the AN-94 starts to shine a little. It is able to fire in 2x burst, automatic, and semi-automatic. Now when firing in semi and fully automatic, it has a 600 round per minute fire rate, which is actually the second lowest in its class, just above the G11-12K when it's firing in full auto. However, its burst has an 1800 round per minute fire rate, which is actually the second fastest in its entire assault rifle category. Now when shooting with the AN-94, you may notice it looks a bit odd, feels maybe a bit off aside from its slow fire rate. That's because it actually has a unique pulley system that's internal that makes it so when you fire, it'll cycle the first 2 bullets so fast you will not feel recoil. So when you shoot at a wall, the first 2 bullets will shoot in the exact same spot with 0 recoil. Then recoil will kick in and your gun will slowly start to rise. Not that that's most of an issue, however, as the AN-94 has very low recoil and very good recoil statistics overall. Fortunately, with the 2x bursting, there is a force delay between each burst of around 177 milliseconds, or like 0.1777, whatever. This will bring down its fire rate to the maximum of around 1080 rounds per minute, which is also kind of sluggish. Regardless of firing in full auto or the burst, the first 2 rounds will have no recoil. Due to this forced break between each recoil, it can give you a significant disadvantage, with its already slow fire rate being brought down even more. In close range, you'll be competing against SMGs, shotguns, and assault rifles that usually have much faster fire rates. Delving into statistics, without any modifiers that speed up or slow down the stats, it has a tactical reload of 2.5 seconds and empty reload speed of 3.2 seconds. Its time to kill is all over the place with the different bursts and if you place a headshot or not, but the fastest possible with a 2x burst directly to the head at close range 63 studs or closer will result in a 133 millisecond time to kill or a 233 millisecond time to kill if you hit body shots. The muzzle velocity for the AN-94 is very average for its class, around 2500 studs per second, or translated around 700 meters per second. All this velocity and stuff I explained well in my last video, so you can go check that out if you want to. But essentially the bare bones explanation is bullets will go down after traveling through the air for so long because of something called gravity. So the farther a target is, you might have to aim a little higher to hit them because of bullet drop. It has a penetration depth of around 1 stud, which is around 0.28 meters, so it'll probably be able to punch through thin wood but not concrete. That's followed up by a suppression of around 0.50, which is how many angles the camera shakes when you're shot at. So if you're shot at by a 50 cal, Your screen will be shaking and you'll probably be suppressed for a while, which means teammates will no longer be able to spawn on you until you find cover or suppression wears off. With the AN-94, that's probably a little lower. Suppressors no longer affect damage. Well, that update happened a while ago, but since I don't want to get into all the suppressors because that will make this video ages, they will mainly affect aiming speed, walk speed, crouch speed, stability, accuracy, things like that. So we're just going to skip over those and go to the ammunition types. Armor piercing does not affect the gun's damage. However, it will affect your damage range, penetration depth, suppression, etc. It will actually cut your damage range to 25, meaning it will take 4 shots to kill from 25 and closer. It'll have to take 5 shots from beyond that, due to your damage range actually be cut in half. It does not affect the maximum range. It will bump up your penetration depth by 50 for 1.50 studs, or 0.42 studs, so it might be able to get through some thicker barricades. It will also cut your suppression in half, which means you'll have to shoot a lot closer to actually suppress someone, and their screen won't be shaking quite as much. Now, Hollow Point will actually increase your damage by around 20%, as well as your suppression, but it will reduce your range percentage and your multiplier by 83.33%. So that brings your damage range to around 43.03 maximum and 108 minimum. This also brings your penetration depth to around 0.50 and your suppression to 0.55. It will deal 36 per bullet to the body from your new range of 43.3 studs or closer, making it a 3-shot kill to the body. This in turn, with your new minimum range that has been greatly reduced, will give you a 6-shot kill to the body from long distances. Wow. Your head multiplier will also be spliced down to 1.17. With that new multiplier, the AN-94 will deal 42.12 damage per bullet from your new range of 48 meters and closer, so it will become a 3-shot headshot at 42.12 damage. With its damage drop-off at range, it will deal 22.43 damage per bullet, making it a 4-shot headshot at long distances. Now, Tracerless simply makes tracers harder to see, doesn't exactly make them invisible. It does, however, give you greater overall accuracy for less ranged performance and bullet penetration, meaning your suppression will go down, as well as your penetration depth to 0.90 studs. It also chips down your damage range to 45 studs to 108 studs. And Super Armor Piercing makes damage drop off immediately with vastly increased bullet penetration, but it harshly cuts at suppression and long-range damage, meaning your penetration depth will now be 3 studs or nearly a meter at 0.84 meters. However, your damage drop-off is set to 10 studs, which is essentially right in front of you. The AN-94 only has one conversion, which is the 7x62x39mm. This changes its ammunition to, well, what I just stated, and it makes it more like an Automatic Kalashnikov, however you pronounce it, with more power but more recoil. That bumps up its damage to 38 maximum and 21 minimum. This will make it a 3-shot body shot in close ranges and a 5-shot body shot in far ranges. However, it also makes it a 2-shot headshot in close ranges and a 4-shot headshot in farther ranges. It will also increase recoil, but it should be easy enough to control, if you're already familiar with guns like the AK-47, which already have high kick. Onto weapon handling. Equip speed is 12, which I still don't know how to calculate to this day, but a higher stat means that it's better. It has an aiming speed of 15, a crosshair size of 30, a crosshair spread rate of 400, and a crosshair recover rate of 20. It has a walk speed of 14 studs, or around 3.92 meters per second, and it has an aiming walk speed of 8.4 studs, or 2.352 meters per second. It is able to fit a round in the chamber, and it has a shot suppression range of none. Alright, now that the statistics are over, let's start talking about how to actually use the gun. For the AN-94, the burst mode is a little difficult, as it's extremely underwhelming, but it can be very high rewarding when you use it and you hit headshots and such. It has a very slow, fully automatic rate of fire, which kind of brings down the gun a bit in quality, and kind of puts it below a lot of other assault rifles that have around the same damage but fire a lot faster. It's definitely a harder to use weapon, definitely having a high skill cap. All depends on the accuracy and mastering of its burst fire to make sure it at maximum efficiency to get you kills and such. As previously stated, up close in CQC and close quarter combat, the delay between bursts can be extremely punishing. If you miss one, your opponent's already had a chance to put 5 or 6 bullets in you with an SMG or fire assault rifle with a much faster fire rate. Bioptic sights actually aren't out of the picture for the AN-94. It has quite low recoil and can actually be reduced further with the use of muzzle brakes, and compensator can always help due to its low but still present horizontal recoil. Grips can further help this, with the stubby grip being pretty good for the rifle, as well as the pistol grip can also be used to clean up the slightly above average recoil for the vertical. However, without any attachment, it is still very easy to control. The AN-94 can be pretty similar to many designated marksman rifles, or DMRs, in terms of damage profile, and it can even out-damage some in raw damage for a few, such as, well, I don't know actually, I don't use DMRs, so I don't know. It's highly customizable, so it's really up to you and your playstyle if you want to go close with it, but myself, when I play, I tend to stay back and pick off people with either the burst or the full auto because of the very low recoil. It very heavily relies on accuracy over rate of fire, such as the HK416. You need to hit your shots with it, essentially. It can be considered an unorthodox assault rifle, however, in the hands of a gifted player, it can be extremely punishing against the other team. Over any range, it can perform well, and with its powerful hyperburst, it can be very specialized to be in around medium to far range combat even. Again, it is technically considered a beginner's weapon due to its very low unlock rank, so it might be your favorite gun, who knows. Give it a try out, and we'll see how you like it.